YouTube, thank you guys for tuning back into another video. We're going to be giving our client here a nice solid transformation, and the way that we're going to need to start this off here, since she's growing her hair out, we're going to have to give it a nice little shape up. I'm going to start picking it out, and with really thick hair like this, it kind of helps sometimes to pinch the hair up into my fingers and then run the pick through. But once you get everything picked out and extended to its fullest length possible, we're going to have to start the shape up. And the way that I like to approach this, for example, is sometimes it's hard for me just to jump straight into the curve of the fro. I don't know if that's a challenge for you guys, but something I like to do is take this clipper all the way closed, right, and kind of catch the shape from the sides first, right? I like to work the whole outside perimeter, the outer perimeter first, and shape everything kind of upwards, almost as if we were to be creating a high top, right, or a sky top type of shape. This kind of helps me break down just the simplicity of shaping everything up at first. So I take this all the way around the sides, you know. I determine first how long I want the puff to be, right? So I'm going to take this all the way around, and by the time that I'm done shaping up the very front here, now since I have flat sides, now I can kind of pick it up from that very front shape and start to round it off a little bit. Now I can kind of work my way into the rest of this fro. And at this point, once I kind of determine the side profile of that curve that I want, then it's really just going to be a matter of continuing to chip away at all the little corners that I might see. You know, keep chipping away at all those corners and just kind of start to soften up the shape. This shape is not going to have to be perfect either. We're just trying to keep it nice and balanced, because we are going to be hitting it with a curl sponge here at the very end. So you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. Like, now that that profile has been set, now I can just keep working and chipping away at all the corners here, guys. So we're also going to be using this Tomb45 clipper. We're going to be using the Tomb45 trimmer, both of them with that wireless charging technology. So in the bottom left corner, you're going to see the tagged product. So if you guys want to copy yourself a pair, we've got the links there for y'all. So to start my tapers, guys, this is going to be a taper, you know, a mid taper on the back and on the sides. If you're familiar at all with my channel, you already know that I like to go in with this clipper all the way closed. It gives my brain a reference like, hey, this is where the fade needs to be finished, but it's going to be a soft enough line that it's easy for me to fade out. And you'll see that come together at the very end here of the cut. We're going to give ourselves a little bit of space here to blend now. Similar reasoning why I like to go clipper closed. I'll use the half guard closed to be able to give myself my first little fading panel. You know, like, this is what I'm going to be working down towards to be able to get the blend finished. And that half line is going to be a very, very soft, easy finish. It works really good for me, especially with the Tomb45 set, since the half guard has the sharp teeth. Now, some of you, if you have the short, stubby teeth that like are on the wall half guard, for example, that kind of pushes hair more, you may be better off just taking the guard off and going lever open. But that's that panel, y'all. We're gonna start fading our way down now, right? Now we're gonna use our 1.5 guard, working up into the shape. Look at how I'm floating it. Pressure at the bottom and lightly elevating our pressure up into the fro. Now the 1.5 guard, when we have the lever open, I like using it like this because the darkness is enough that it's gonna be able to help float up into the fro, as long as you have a nice light touch with it. You know, you can see I'm being very careful with the shape that I'm setting in, and then by the time that you're done clearing the bulk with the lever open, you can come back down with the lever closed, right, and just kind of start to lighten it up a little bit and prepare for the fading down process. So let's watch this come together. Like I said, as I'm floating up into the fro, I'll have my lever open because I want it a little darker, and as I lighten it up lower, I'll have the lever closed. But let's start thinking ahead, guys, right? I'm debulking and I'm starting to lighten up the fade a little bit. I'm working on this fade down. So what's the next step gonna be? How can we continue to work our way down to match that line that we put in with the half guard? Now, if you're more experienced, you can probably just skip right to the half guard like how I did here in this video. If I'm going to be going a little bit higher in the fade, I'll be having with the lever open. If I'm going to be working a little bit lower in the fade, I'm going to be working more closed on the lever, right? So I'm going to be doing my lever play here from open to closed, and I'm slowly fading my way down. I want this to match perfectly at the very bottom. So just to make it really easy for the end of this cut, when we go to close and go for the kill shot, we just have a little bit of light, a little bit of darkness at the very bottom to flick out with no guard, just blade. So this is pretty cool, man. Like the way that the fading down method comes together. If you are not fully comfortable with this yet, you don't necessarily have to skip guards, guys. Like, you know, I chose to debulk with the 1.5. But if you're not fully comfortable, you can use your 3 guard, your 2 guard, then your 1.5. Obviously, I skipped the 1 guard in this case, right? You don't have to do that either. You can use the 1 guard first open and then closed. You know, I'll show you guys real in barbershop techniques that help me stay on time. I take an appointment every 30 minutes if it's just a haircut. So yeah, that's just something to consider, guys. But yeah, we are floating our way down little by little. We've already faded with the 1.5, and now we're fading out here with the half. So this is why we set it up the way that we did. We just have to flick out a little bit. Just do a tiny little bit of work from working our lever closed and slowly opening it up. And this all should blend really well together, guys. Look at that. So we're going to continue to do these same fading steps all the way around. We knocked out the side taper. Now we're going to do the back taper and the other side taper. The way I like to think about it, to stop myself from going too high, is I like to look at it as if I am breaking through the line, right? I'm not trying to, like, if you're going to erase a line, you have to be able to cut past it. So if I went clever all the way closed at the very bottom, then I'm going to go notch 1 now, and I have to break through the line, slowly elevate it. Then I'm going to go ahead and hit the next notch, notch number 2, and I have to break through that new line that I set. Little by little, you'll see that every time you open the notch more and more, working your way up, eventually you're going to hit a point where it matches and blends perfectly to the work you put in with that half guard. So, you know, I set like a base guideline for reference in the beginning, faded down the whole top fade, and now we're fading up the bottom fade. You know, and of course, the higher that you go in the fade, as you can see, I'm starting to kind of work on my corners a little bit, you know, floating my way. Just using less pressure as I work my way up, because the fade and the blend does become more critical. Every step becomes more critical the more that you get up into that area where you're blending guard length and blade length. So now y'all can see we're just doing the finishing touches. I'm picking up any hairs that were not picked up with the guard when I was setting the shape, and we're jumping right into the lineup. Now, like I said, we're using the Tomb45 FX set, the wireless charging set that comes from Babyliss and Tomb45, that collaboration. But I'm trying to make sure that, number one, I want to keep this edge feminine. We're not going to be like creating a hard square like on the corner, right? I'm just gonna be doing the curve here that flows into the sideburn. So I'm gonna be starting right there at the corner and just slowly flowing my way down into the sideburn area. The very front of this line is gonna be natural. The vertical bar area, we're gonna be leaving that completely natural. Blend away, and you see here how like shaving away the very bottom sideburn hair, you see how effortless that was to be able to float up into that clipper close length that we started this fade with? Like, everything comes together so smooth when you start fading with your clipper all the way closed. I really think that's something, man, that would help a lot of y'all take your fade game to the next level. Maybe not even to make your fades look better, but just make it easier for you to execute them. That's something that I discovered probably around 2020, maybe 2021, in that area. And bro, it just made my life so much easier, and I haven't stopped doing it since. But yeah, check this out, man. So we're gonna continue here, man. I'm just gonna keep cleaning up her eyebrows here a little bit. We're actually gonna be hitting her with 2 slits over here on her left brow, the brow that's on the right side of the screen right now. Yeah, I just want to show you guys kind of what this process looks like. It's really fun to do these kind of brows, but it definitely requires a high level of precision and a high level of patience. We're going to be dropping, actually, Tomb45 is coming out with a new Tomb45 Academy. You may have remembered we did this a few years ago, but now with the new set of educators that we have, man, we're super excited to bring that to you. That's going to be more of the long, drawn out, boring explanations, right? All the technical stuff. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely look out for that. We're going to be dropping that real soon. And I'll have a much more slowed down version of the eyebrow breakdown and really just the whole haircut. You know, we'll be able to go a little more in depth. But for now, we got to keep this thing YouTube and algorithm friendly, man. This is the before. She's coming in, like I said, for a nice little shape up. She's growing the hair out. We got to keep it balanced. And this is what the after looks like, man. I was super happy with the results of this. Let me know if you were satisfied with this video, man. Make sure you show them all the details left and right. You see, the confidence just came back, man. I love doing this. But yeah, guys, here's a couple shots I took with the phone, man. I wanted to get up a little closer, show you all the details, man. But let me know what y'all think, man. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next.